All right, let's talk about Albert Collins, the Iceman. Oof. Today's top five are my five top Albert Collins, but I don't even know if it'll be five. It'll just be all this great Albert Collins. Man, the Iceman, the master of the Telecaster. Leona, Texas, cousin to Lightning Hopkins, friend to Gatemouth Brown. Played in band with Johnny Clyde Copeland when they were teenagers. We're talking about a legend here. One of my biggest influences. One of the reasons I play a Telecaster. The man was fearless, and you didn't want to be on stage with him, I didn't think. When I would watch him play with other guitar players, he looked like he was going to kill you. I mean, Albert King had that look too, but Albert Collins was just like out for blood. He'd give you that look. Oh, I remember as a kid seeing him in Adventures in Babysitting, and Nobody Leaves Here Without Singing the Blues, right? And you would be scared if you walked up to him and he looked at you like that. Just a genius, man. So let's jump into the top five, Albert Collins. Yes. All right. So Albert played with a capo on and in a very interesting open F minor tuning. And he was taught this by a close family relative and friend, and he stuck with it. And man, it gives you these open strings that are, thirds and sixths and things like that. So he had a lot of little licks that would have pull-offs that would end with an open third or an open sixth. And you get these great endings. He has so many phrases with like phrase enders, and it's part of his vocabulary that was a huge influence on me. He wraps up phrases really well. I'm going to do all these examples without the capo, and I'm in standard tuning. So we'll do them all in A just to stay consistent. So number one has to be the high octave root note lick. It's the first thing I think of when I think of Albert Collins. He plays the low octave, the high octave, and then the little descending riff. It sounds like this. Whew. It's so good. Now, he would play it with his fingers. But what note is he ending on there? He's ending on that F sharp, G flat, and obviously that's the sixth in the key of A. It's such a cool sound. Man, he could make an entire solo out of stinging that high root note. It's unbelievable. And if you're going to start with Albert Collins, that has to be first. That root note, high note, that's always going to be number one with Albert. It's just genius. He literally played it in every solo 100 times. In fact, all the licks we're going to talk about today, he would play 100 times in every solo. So that's got to be number one. And then you've got all the ways that he would end the phrase, like so that time I ended on the major third instead of the sixth. He went up another string and ended. Again, with the open tuning and the capo, those would be open strings. It's just amazing stuff the way he would end those licks. All right, so that leads us to number two, and that's the flat 7 bass lick. He'd play that all the time on the 5. Ooh, it's so good. So good, that flat 7 lick. And man, he loved that flat 7. My favorite way that he would play it was to slide up on the G string to play it. And then land on that 6th. Oh my God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's got to be number 2, right? The way that he would slam on that flat 7. Just genius stuff. Again, all these licks, they weren't like, they'd come out here or there. All of these he probably played in every solo he ever took, at least in the last 50 years of his life. So once he kind of settled on his style, just amazing stuff. All right, number 3 has got to be the way that he trills notes on the high notes. He would do stuff like... And then he would play from the root up to the 2nd. Woo, so good. But that trill has got to be number 3. And he would come out of it sometimes to the octave. Oh my God, so good. The trill, unbelievable. He tied all these licks together in a special way. All right, number 4 is the way he would play that lick down low up here and snap it. And those down slides with the open string and the capo. Ooh, the way he played the low notes. He would also do octaves like that. And it works better with the capo. But man, he would do all sorts of this really cool stuff. He loved that open low string. Like songs like Don't Lose Your Cool. He literally plays. Oh, so good. So good. Albert, absolute genius. So that's got to be number 4. And number 5 is the way he puts it all together. It's, again, the connection of all those licks together. Playing something like this. Also, he would do this awesome thing where he would curse with his guitar on the slow blues. Things like, fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you. Funny shit like that. The master of the Telecaster. I mean, I could talk about him for 20 minutes straight. But just put on an Albert Collins record. Put on Truckin'. Or, man, go on YouTube and watch Live from Montreux 76, I think it is. Look at AC Reed with that big monitor controller speaker thing on his belt pack while he's playing sax. Just unbelievable. Albert Collins and the Icebreakers. Man, one of the most imposing musicians to ever walk the earth. One of the most dedicated, I think. He just had so much intensity behind every note. I don't think I could be a bigger fan. So give it up for Albert Collins, the Iceman, the master of the Telecaster, ruling. All right, members, let's talk Albert Collins in a second. If you're not a member, subscribe, become a ruler, whatever. But I'll see you later. Albert Collins for life, ruling.